keep everything on this one.
Good morning. It's 10 o'clock. We will get our meeting started. We will start with our prayer and pledge.
Pray. Gracious Father, we thank you so much for today. We thank you so much for your goodness and grace. We thank you for this opportunity to serve you in this community, Lord. We commit this meeting to you. Pray you would lead and guide it by your Spirit, Lord. We just thank you for the privilege to serve you in many capacities. We thank you for everyone that came out today and the energy that's in the room and the things that we discussed, Lord. Pray you would just guide our discussions, Father. We pray that we lean into you. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning.
Morning.
Roll call for members. Myself, Commissioner Stiles, Commissioner Wink, and Commissioner Blackman are all present. We're going to start with our public comment section. We have people who wish to speak for and against the hotel tax. I would like to remind everybody to be polite and be maybe a controversial subject. We want to be polite and think about each and every other person. And it's scheduled 3 minutes per person. If it goes over 3 minutes, we will stop you and we'll go from there. First person up is Randy Shaw from the Union Hotel and Restaurant.
Good morning. Thank you guys for allowing me to be here. I'm Randy Shaw. I'm president and CEO of the ECM Insurance Group, as well as Mona, my wife, and I own the Union Hotel. We've owned it since 2021. I'm here to ask you a question, and that is, what do you want to be known for? Is it raising taxes? Is that the reputation you want? It's a challenge for us because I attended the Visitors Bureau's get-together last week, and I was surprised to hear that Mr. Tice was not even in favor of having an increase in the hotel tax. So it got me checking, and I've discovered that it's really centered around the Treasurer's Office attempting to generate more revenue to replace the lost license revenue that came from the hunting licenses going online. That's a problem. To try and replace one problem or fix one problem with another problem has never worked well in my experience. As it relates to the hotel tax, if you do pass this, my concern is, are we going to have the right metrics? Are we going to have the right accountability to get a return on that increased revenue? You know as well as I in business, you've got to have the right metrics to measure whether it's just a lost expense or whether it truly is an investment. If it's an investment, you ought to be able to measure it. Some of the things I hear bannered around is simply an increase in our advertising, $54,000 for a website design. That I wouldn't even spend that much for ECM, and we're a $300 million operation. So I challenge you to think about establishing the right metrics for this potential tax. That's the basis, because Mona and I decided to withdraw our membership in the Visitors Bureau because we didn't get a return on that investment. So that's imperative. I don't think it's important to look at the map that Dennis provided. I guess you guys have probably seen this, where it shows all the counties that have the 5%. The only yellow one is Bedford County at 2%. I look at that as a competitive advantage that the county has. We're not like every other county. I love this county, and I love the opportunities that we have. We just need to have the right metrics in place to make sure that we do try to capture some more visitors to this area. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Question for you.
Sure.
Would your opposition change if there was a comprehensive plan with measurable objectives and outcomes that would increase hotel stays?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's the main frustration that I have, is that you're not gonna be able to measure where those dollars went and what kind of return are we getting for it. If you develop the right metrics, that would certainly help the process.
Thank you.
Thank
Any-
you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Kenny Fetterman from Rental Properties.
I timed this and it took 4 minutes, so I'm gonna read fast. I love the idea of our county having more funds allotted to tourism. I take major issue with those funds continuing to support a marketing strategy that touts us as small town America. If marketing and branding were all about telling people what we are in the most generic and broadest sense, then we have succeeded immensely. However, in today's economical climate, a business or a city should be promoting what makes them unique and what sets them apart from other cities. By branding ourselves as a historic downtown, we are creating a vibe that appeals to the majority of the people that are traveling today, mostly millennials. They are the ones that are spending the money. The demographics most interested in historic landmarks are now retired and many stay-at-homers. The cities with the most successful branding are appealing to an experience mainly in the arts and recreation. These communities are the fastest growing in the US. Finding our unique niche requires a narrow focus. If our brochures and web presence look like every other city, our branding strategy will ultimately fail. A great place to live, work, and play is used by more than 3,000 cities across the US, much to their demise. A slogan should identify a community as a place of some significance, a destination worthy of consideration. Small Town America is our current slogan with the tagline, "The pace is a little slower than most places, and we like it that way!" WorldPopulationReview.com tells us that 20,000 cities, towns, and villages exist in the US. Of those, 15,000 have a population of less than 5,000 and could be classified as small town America. 75% of America is small town America. This does not make us special. The most popular branding tagline in our country is something for everyone, but no one visits a city because they have a tagline that's all inclusive or something for everyone. They go where there is something for them. If it doesn't promote something that is unique and specific, it's just another city. Bedford County needs to find its unique selling proposition. This is about money. The key to economic vitality and stability is importing more money than we export. Pennsylvania has over 2,500 cities, towns, and villages. The first step in branding is determining what sets us apart. How are we unique? We are rich in outdoor recreation, hiking, biking, skiing, and kayaking, to name a few. With the dams being removed here in downtown Bedford, we'll be able to boast of having a stretch of 160 miles of uninterrupted kayakable waters. Something to consider. 13 million individuals across the country consider themselves avid kayakers, and that number continues to grow. It's my request that a minimum of 1% of the room tax be allocated exclusively to asset development of outdoor recreation projects. Including outdoor recreation in the marketing is essential in appealing to the younger demographics, the millennials, and their families to frequent our hotels and our stores. Focusing on quality of life through outdoor recreation will also help encourage businesses and younger families to locate here, as well as help with our population decline. Our marketing and branding strategies cannot be decided by only our Visitors Bureau, but by a collaboration of private, public, and community sectors, as well as our stakeholders and business owners. Our image is everything. Let's work together to be good stewards of our obvious assets as well as our untapped potentials.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kenny?
Yeah.
Would you be able to provide us with a copy of that?
I'll give you one.
Sure. Perfect.
Yes, I would appreciate, I know we are having this taped, but I would definitely appreciate written comments that I could review later.
Yes, any of you who are interested, we do have this. This will be on our website. You can go watch it live as well. Well, not live, but recorded copy. Next up, we have Ankit Patel from the Hampton Inn.
I provided you copies here.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ankit Patel. I'm with the Hampton Inn. Commissioners, I thank you for your time and consideration for this matter. Our hotels and many hotels across this region are strongly against the tax hike for many reasons, but for the sake of time, we picked two. The first being, there's a lack of understanding of how fragile the hospitality industry is right now with those who don't live and breathe it. Since the pandemic, our industry has lost the largest number of workers that haven't come back. It's estimated that over 2 million workers work in the hospitality space, with those numbers likely increasing, and for many reasons. This industry is a 24/7 business, open 365 days a year. We have to clean rooms, we have to deal with upset guests, scrub toilets, fold laundry, that's the name of you. On top of that, we have larger franchises like Hilton, Marriott, IHG, which is the Holiday Inn Express, forcing hotel owners to go through massive renovations. Our hotel is going to go through a renovation at the end of this year that will cost anywhere between $500,000 to $1 million. The Fairfield and the Holiday Inn Express, once that sells, will have to go through larger renovations that will cost anywhere between $3 to $5 million. For those reasons, our operating costs have gone up and been pushed down to our guests. The strategic advantage that we've had in Bedford County has been the taxes. The lower taxes have helped us attract travelers, especially those of business, to stay here. And then those travelers would spend money at local restaurants and bars, thus stimulating the local economy. Increasing the taxes takes away from a competitive advantage. The second issue that we have is in the proposed tax hike, $500,000 is going towards an advertising budget. When we asked, how do we measure the return on investment on that budget, there was no good answer, which was a huge red flag. Now, whether you believe in the small town American slogan or not, it had me wondering when I was on the turnpike, what does that mean to me? It means community, people coming together like today. It means the great outdoors and the affordability that you can't find within cities. Increasing taxes goes against the very DNA of small town America. Instead of proposing a six-figure budget for antiquated advertising, we should be trying to understand how do we bring affordable housing for homes and apartments for our hotel workers and and workers across this region so they can live in Bedford and spend money in Bedford. Commissioners, I invite you to our hotel. Let's have an open dialogue. Let's sit down and understand what we can do. I thank you for your time and the consideration.
Thank you.
Same question for you. I'm asking this to the hotel operators here. Would your opposition change if there was a comprehensive plan with measurable objectives and outcomes that would increase hotel stays?
I think the big pain point that we're seeing is our hotel workers are coming in from Martinsburg, they're coming in from Altoona, Berlin, and we ask them, we're paying them well, almost 3 to 4 times at a pre-pandemic levels. Why aren't they staying here? They just don't have any housing, any affordable housing. For us, if we're spending money to help the housing projects, I know our group would be happy to help bring in affordable apartments, as well as homes for not only just hotel workers, but different businesses that could come in. So if there is a budget increase that has a comprehensive plan of solving those problems, I'm all ears.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is James Willing from the BFJRA, the Bedford Fulton Joint Recreation Association.
I'm Jim Welling, a resident of Bedford Borough. Thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me this opportunity to address funding for our tourism promotion agency, the Bedford County Visitors Bureau. I have 5 points to make. First, I favor the increasing the room tax from 2% to 5% for 2 years. Why? Not because Bedford County is at 2% and everyone else is at 5%. There must be other reasons. I favor it because there are many critical needs and wonderful opportunities out there to promote Bedford County tourism. A room tax increase will generate $17.5 million over 10 years. It can make a huge difference. Second, what does PA Act 18 of 2016, the most recent tourism promotion law, hope to accomplish? When organizing my thoughts, I selected new documents from MS Word. And in front of me was an AI assistant who wanted to help me with the task. I typed in summarize PA Act 18 of 2016. Lo and behold, I got a wonderful summary. Drew is passing out that summary. This is the first handout, the first side of the handout. Note that some of the phrases in it, cooperation, comprehensive, outcomes. There's a wonderful beginning point. Please see the handout and note in particular the conclusions. Third, what about the language in the law itself? What does it say? The second side of my handout provides language from the law on what TPAs can do. TPAs can do marketing of several types as spelled out in subparagraphs 1 through 3, but also note subparagraphs 4 and 5, particularly 5, which has been ignored to date. Note program grants does not appear in the law. Programs are separate from grants, as subparagraph 5 makes clear. Combining them reduces flexibility. Fourth, it is time to take advantage of the flexibility in the law. The law allows many programs, activities, expenditures, as well as different kinds of marketing. Our tourism promotion efforts are stuck in a bygone era by focusing on print media and billboards. Fifth, so far we have the back of an envelope plan with fancy graphics that are not on this envelope. But basically, this is the plan. There are no metrics, no outcome measures, no demographic data, no multi-year strategy, nothing on cooperation or collaboration, no mention of analytics and how they can be used to develop a strategy. Let's do better. Let's develop a multi-year business type plan that addresses the full extent of Act 18 of 2016. Commissioners, please insist on a real plan. Increase, but sunset the increase after 2 years. Please provide the Visitors Bureau with incentive to develop a comprehensive multi-year plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mark Thayer from Organic Snack Company.
Morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Mark Thaler, and I'm here wearing a number of hats. I'm a resident of Bedford Borough, the CEO of a local business, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Bedford County Industrial Roundtable, a group representing the industrial core of our county, the fastest growing county by GDP in the Commonwealth in 2023. I'm here today to strongly oppose the proposed increase in the Bedford County occupancy tax from 2% to 5%, not because I'm against the tax per se, but because I have major reservations about the effective use of these funds and struggle to understand how they will be utilized under the current tourism setup to benefit locals, visitors, and businesses alike in our area. First, I want to address the claim made by the head of the Bedford County Visitors Bureau that the money will be used wisely. While that may be the intent, there are no defined metrics in place to measure the efficacy of the efforts. Without accountability, transparency, clear performance indicators, we have no way of ensuring that these funds will be used in a way that benefits our local economy. Additionally, their current focus relies heavily on outdated methods, such as traditional advertising, which is becoming increasingly ineffective in a digital-first world, especially with young people, a group that, despite my rapidly graying hair, I consider myself a member of. Second, Commissioner Stiles has suggested in public comments that the tax increases do not impact local residences unless they stay in hotels. That argument is simply not true. Our local businesses regularly bring visitors to Bedford County, customers, vendors, potential employees who require accommodations, and we are the ones that foot the bill. This tax directly affects our business community, making it more expensive for companies like mine and the other employers to attract and retain talent, conduct business, and support economic growth in Bedford County. The Bedford County Industrial Roundtable met and provided consensus that the increase is not appropriate at this time, given the impact on local businesses struggling with continued rising costs of operations and the lack of clear metrics to evaluate the effectiveness of these additional raised funds. Finally, the Visitors Bureau has chosen to center its tourism efforts on the idea of small town America. While that idea may hold some appeal, and arguably is one of the aspects that we all love the most about Bedford, it just isn't going to bring people to the community. Our town is hardly the only small town in this country. Our true competitive advantage lies in outdoor recreation, an industry that is not only a local focus for tourism, but also serves as a crucial driver of our local economy. It is an industry that is drastically underserved by the county's Visitor Bureau efforts. Outdoor recreation doesn't just bring visitors, It also enhances the quality of life for Bedford County residents. I'd like to share a real example. Our company just recently hired a 22-year-old Penn State grad who, despite enjoying her job, left us after 8 months on the job. Her primary reason, there was nothing to do. A vibrant outdoor recreation scene would not only attract more visitors to our area, but also make Bedford County a more desirable place for young professionals and their families to live and work. If we are going to raise taxes, they should be used in a way that directly improves the lives of the people in our community. Whether paid for by visitors or residents, any increase in tax revenue should be strategically invested in initiatives that enhance our county's livability and long-term growth. I respectfully urge you to oppose this tax hike. Thank you for your time and consideration of this issue in the context of Bedford County's future.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next up is Corey Mikas, Everett business owner and member of the BCBB.
Thank you, Commissioners. I've been on the Board of Directors of Bedford County Visitors Bureau since 2018 and serving as president since 2022. I've been a local business owner in Everett for 19 years. My goal has always been to be as objective as possible, and I have nothing directly to gain by an increase in hotel room tax. First, I wanted to let everyone know that our Executive Director, Dennis Tice, is not with us today because his mother passed away on Sunday, and he is spending time with his family. And I wanted to express my condolences to him and his family. Our board is very well-rounded and includes many successful business owners and operators. Some of our board members represent hotels, including the largest in Bedford County, plus other inns and bed and breakfasts of varying sizes. Some of our other board members own and operate local restaurants, museums, retail stores, contracting services, and communication companies. We also have representation from organizations such as Bedford County Players and Bedford County Fair. We all want to see Bedford County prosper, as that will be beneficial to our businesses, organizations, and the residents of Bedford County. I do believe it's time to increase the room tax rate from 2% to 5%. Of all of the counties in Pennsylvania that collect room taxes, Bedford County is the only county with only a 2% rate. It is getting harder and harder to compete with other counties for additional tourism. As everyone knows, the cost of everything has been increasing greatly over the last several years, and the same can be said for the cost to advertise across all mediums. It's just not a fair fight. Our plan will enable us to consistently move forward in ways we haven't had resources for in the past. We have plans for a complete website and marketing overhaul, as well as a huge increase in digital advertising on a consistent basis. We also have plans to improve the visitor experience within the county, beginning with a new wayfinding initiative. Our plan also has a proposed new grant program to help develop and maintain tourism assets within the county. Finally, I would like to make an appeal to all businesses, organizations, and individuals. It's time we all work together better than ever before to move Bedford County forward even more. I believe we can find ways to have a more open dialogue with each other and work together instead of separately. And I am personally willing to sit down and talk with anyone about any ideas or plans to move us in this direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question, Corey. One of the things that seemingly came up with all the different other speakers was a lack of a comprehensive plan involving metrics and whatnot. Is there a plan like that in place, or is that something you're going to be working on? You've heard some of the objections.
Sure.
If you can,
I don't know if the specific metrics, I know metrics can be gained with the right marketing and digital advertising. Now the metrics, usually that involves, from what I understand, of people seeing the ads, clicking or responding in different ways, or watching the full ad. It is a very difficult thing to say, okay, well, this person saw this ad and then they, visited the county. That would be, there may be ways to do that I don't know of. But I do think it's something we can further look at and should look at. And I mean, the ultimate metric will be, more people visiting county, booking rooms. And I mean, that's our goal. Our goal isn't to collect money. Our goal is to get more people to visit the county, which will increase tourism, which will increase, people booking rooms and staying in hotels. I mean, that's the whole objective. It's really not about us getting money to do whatever with. It's to bring people to the county. It's what we all want. It's just the way we have to get there. That's where we're at.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Rand Terrell, owner of River Mountain Hotel.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I love Bedford County. Growing up, I spent a ton of time in the mountains with my dad in Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia fishing, but I never spent a lot of time in the mountains of Pennsylvania. It didn't take long to fall in love with this part of the country. Soaring ridges, deep valleys, water in every direction. It's truly a unique and absolutely beautiful place. It's this natural beauty that first brought our company here, and 4+ years later, it's that same beauty that brings our guests here daily and weekly. When we first arrived in Bedford, the first person I contacted was Kim Merkel at Juniata Realty. Kim and I became fast friends. We set out to find a location for River Mountain. When Kim and I pulled down the driveway to Kurt and Christy Bonello's place, I immediately knew it could work for our business. I hiked around the farm with Kurt in a foot of snow, listening to his stories and learning about every inch of the valley and its history. After identifying the Bonello farm as a potential site for our business, I sat down with Betty Slayton and her BCDA team. We learned more about the county's pro-growth initiatives and were impressed with its roadmap. Betty immediately connected us with the REI folks. We had a series of meetings and we were even more impressed. I really enjoyed the early process of determining where to locate our outdoors business, but everything we did wouldn't have mattered one bit if the township and county weren't a place where we could turn our startup into a financial success. You don't invest $4 million into something if you can't make the financials work. The biggest reason we chose Bedford County was not its natural beauty. The biggest reason was the county's pro-growth, regulatory, and tax environment. And those are the same reasons future hospitality businesses like ours will choose to locate here. From small boutique hotels like us to local folks developing and listing properties on Airbnb and VRBO to huge developments like the Omni. Governments love to think long and hard about how increasing taxes on businesses will impact their budgets, but they rarely think about the big picture and how those taxes will impact future businesses looking for a home. In my opinion, it's extremely short-sighted for the county to think a 150% tax increase won't have a hugely negative effect on future investment and development in the county, especially for a county hopefully looking to grow outdoor tourism. In regards to our day-to-day operations, to say this tax increase won't affect local residents is flat out false. That's something people who don't work in small business say. When you take money out of my small business's pocket, you take money out of the pockets of my team members, Carrie, Kylie Holden Cessna, Kylie Shope, Landon Calhoun, Darcy Sander, Kaylee Kismore, and our amazing team. Margins are tighter than they've ever been in small business. I've been in retail for over 20 years. I worked in the car wash business in Nashville for 15 years. Inflation is raging, and it's the worst it's been ever. Food, energy, labor, supplies, services, workers' comp, health insurance, general liability, property insurance. You name it, everything is through the roof. Hiring and retaining great team members is harder than ever. Our team members are facing massive inflation in their own lives. Increasing their pay and bonuses aggressively is more important than ever. Meanwhile, every B2B business keeps passing their increased costs down the line until it gets to us, direct to consumer businesses trying to hold the line on prices as much as possible because our potential guests have less disposable income than ever due to the inflation they're experiencing. It's quite a squeeze. This is not the economic environment to increase occupancy taxes 150% to increase the budget for a visitors bureau that has no experience marketing to our customer base. We're already spending our own marketing dollars bringing guests to Bedford County. We've spent 4 years perfecting our digital marketing spend. Why would you increase taxes on the businesses that are bringing people to the county to spend money at our grocery stores, restaurants, clothing stores, outdoor stores, bike shops, breweries, golf courses, and downtown establishments? Raising the local occupancy tax is not just a pass-through cost. I want to be very clear. That's far from it. It raises our prices and decreases our business. Our guests see the total cost of a stay by law, including all taxes and processing fees, before they book. So I just want to be crystal clear. By increasing taxes, in my opinion, you're raising our prices and hurting our businesses. Hotel and hospitality businesses have a tipping point. There's no magic wand that guarantees our success. The businesses represented here today employ a lot of amazing folks from this county, which again, I love this county. And they bring a lot of people to this county. And I would strongly suggest you stand with the hotel business for the current and future economic health of the county and for the jobs of your Bedford County residents. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Can you answer the question I've been asking hotel
Sure.
owners? Would your opposition change if there was a comprehensive plan with measurements, and that would increase stays at your establishment and others?
Thank you for the question. Mine would not.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we have Ken Toole, a business owner and a board member of the BCBB. And Ken must not be here today. Okay, so we'll go on to Jeffrey Morris, the Days Inn by Wyndham.
Thank you, commissioners. I've heard some great speeches here this morning. I'm not a speech maker, so I'm just going to talk from Bedford County, from being a local resident, being born here, and operating a hotel here. My name is Jeffrey Morse. I'm the Assistant General Manager at the Days Inn by Wyndham in Breezewood. We're in the process of right now of doing up to $500,000 plus remodeling to our hotel. We're doing this in a time where a lot of people don't know where Breezewood is anymore. It used to be called the town of motels, and now everything is referred to as Bedford, 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 Bedford. But we do have a lively business in Breezewood. We have, sure, we need things in Breezewood. I'd love to see a couple new restaurants come in, but Breezewood is still functioning. Even with all the things that we have coming up, like the Turnpike extension, all that kind of things, we're still battling that. To raise taxes on our guests, it's just not in the cards. Here are some reasons why my owners, my team are totally opposed to this tax. First, contrary to what I keep hearing and reading, hotel guests do care how much they are paying for their rooms. Our hotel guests are some of the most budget conscious people out there. They are not only checking our rates, they're going online to check Expedia, Booking.com, and other third-party sites. Third-party sites cost our hotel money. So when a guest looks at our room and we say our room's going to be $105 for tonight, the very first thing they say is, what's the fees and taxes? Can we really take a hit of another $3 to $5 per room per night? No, not for a tax that doesn't produce hardly anything for the hotel industry, if anything at all. The guests always want to know what's the total cost. Some even question why the amount of the tax on their bill is 8% right now instead of 6%. Well, I thought Pennsylvania was 6% because they're coming from Maryland. They're coming from Michigan. That's where our top two areas are from. They're coming from, well, I thought Pennsylvania tax was 6%, but we have a 2% county tax. Why? The one thing that the Bureau does that they get phenomenal reviews for is their beautiful booklet. I was going to bring some today here, but I figured Dennis would have them here. I didn't realize there was an emergency in his family. That book is beautiful. But I have yet to have a guest tell me, oh, I stayed here because I saw that book. I hear that from the Bedford County Chamber's book. Just the other night, we had 4 guests come in because they saw us listed in the Bedford County Chamber's book, Chamber of Commerce book. I have never heard that from the Bedford County Visitors Guide. Why is that? The only way you're listed in there is if you pay an additional $120 a year for a wee little ad about yay big, or you buy a regular ad size ad. If we're going to be the tax collectors for this bureau, shouldn't every hotel and every campground in the county be listed in there free? We're being the person that has to collect the tax. We're the ones taking the hits. But it's like they're so proud of that visitor's guide. And they can take that down across the ocean. And those people staying at Myrtle Beach or staying in North Carolina, they're not going to just necessarily come here to stay in a hotel. The books, the Visitors Bureau has nothing in it for the hotel people. If they want to do a visitor's guide and charge everybody, then every restaurant in Bedford County should be in there. Every convenience store should be in there. They should have to pay all the same taxes. And it's like you're asking the hotel owners and the hotel businesses, the campgrounds, to fund this for everybody. And is that really fair? Is that really how we do business in Bedford County? The last thing I wanted to bring up is the big fear we have at our hotel is if we lose 4 rooms, then we have to cut an employee's hours. If we lose 10 rooms, we may end up losing an employee. All 25 of my employees are Bedford County residents. Does the board here really want to start cutting labor to people in Bedford County? Seriously? I don't think you do. That's not what you guys stand for. But when you increase the tax on something like a hotel room, $3 to $5 a night, we're going to lose rooms. And they're going to say, well, they can go to Altoona and pay more. Yeah, but we're near the Maryland border. You can go to Maryland and pay their taxes in Hancock. You can go to Berkeley Springs, and these are places where we can lose guests too. You can go to a beautiful Comfort Inn, which is a competitor of ours in Clear Spring, Maryland. Their taxes are a lot lower than they are here. I didn't see it in the paperwork I seen the other night. I didn't see nothing about the outlying states. And people who travel into Bedford County travel from outside. Pennsylvania people hardly ever stay in here unless they're like coming to visit a family or something. It's people from Ohio, Michigan, Virginia, Maryland. These are the people that stay in our area. And like I said, I'm talking about our little town there in Breezewood. I'm not talking about the whole county. I'm just talking about the Breezewood area. And Mr. Wink there, he's from that area. He realizes what Breezewood went through. So my bottom line is we really feel that this tax is not what a fiscally responsible board of commissioners would do. We request any comments or you have. We thank you for your time.
Again, a question for you was.
We would not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have John Bittner from Holiday Inn, a Bedford member of the BCBD.
Good morning. I speak today to ask for the approval of the increase of the Bedford County room tax rate to 5%. I am the treasurer of the CVB Board of Directors, and I am also co-owner of the Holiday Inn Express Hotel in Breezewood. PA Act 18, which authorizes the collection of room taxes in PA, is not vague or confusing. It provides that Bedford County and other counties, of course, in the state, can collect up to a 5% tax rate on hotel and other similar lodging rentals. The act clearly spells out how the funds are to be collected and processed. If the commissioners were to approve the tax rate increase, the CVB would comply with the law, just as it does now. Bedford County, currently with a 2% room tax rate, is surrounded by all neighboring counties that are collecting 5%. Consequently, the designated tourist promotion agencies in these counties have considerably more resources to market and promote their natural resources, businesses, and events to potential travelers. It also doesn't help that they have considerably more hotels in which to collect this tax. Competition for visitors in central PA is fierce, and it is critical to spend considerable funds to attract them to this county. The addition of funds resulting from a room tax rate increase in Bedford County will be used to bolster the existing marketing and promotion of the county's natural assets and businesses by the CVB. The CVB has prepared a plan that includes the additional expenditure of funds into advertising mediums it currently cannot afford. This will extend the reach of the marketing and promotional efforts to markets currently out of reach. The additional marketing and promotional expenditures will benefit many businesses and consequently residents in the county, even those not in the hospitality trade. In addition, the CVB is proposing to create a new capital development matching grant fund to supplement its existing cooperative marketing grant program. I understand there are some lodging establishments in the county opposed to raising the room tax rate for one reason or another. As a hotel owner, I have considered what might happen to my relationship with my guests if they have to pay more tax. I also understand that failure to increase marketing and promotion of Bedford County will have a negative effect on my business. If Bedford County is to grow beyond its current reach of visitors, we must extend our marketing to other advertising mediums and areas. In closing, I must refute a statement that was made in the newspaper recently that inferred that somehow the CVB is responsible for the lack of growth or even closure of lodging properties in Breezewood. This is a statement of opinion, not based in fact. The fact is, the absence of a public municipal water system in Breezewood is a huge barrier to entry for lodging properties to be built, as well as other types of businesses. Certainly, Breezewood has its problems, and the largest one is the lack of a municipal water system. I've had the privilege of listening to many speeches here today, and everybody speaks eloquently. Coming from a business background in Breezewood and a lifelong resident for 65 years of this county, I see the potential that we have. Also being on the Visitors Bureau Board, I know what we've spent funds on, and I know that the funds have been spent well to the degree that we can. But we're in a situation now in a digital age and other things that we must adapt to. And with these funds, that is what we will do. That is the plan. There is a plan, contrary to what we've heard today. And I just thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Mr. Bittner,
I'll send other copies out here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
you mentioned a plan. Would you be able to provide that plan, the comprehensive plan?
Well, I think we did provide it to you folks earlier.
Okay.
I don't have that with me today, but we could send that out.
I think what we were sent was the budget, but I think I'm hearing a lot of concern from the community that they would like to see not just a budget, but a more comprehensive strategic plan.
Okay.
And so I think that's what we're looking for, something with strategy behind it. And I think that would go a long way to have something like that.
Okay. Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Amanda Burrows from the Omni Bedford Springs Resort and a Bedford board member of the BCBB.
Awesome. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to you today. I am Amanda Burrows. I'm the General Manager of Omni Bedford Springs. I'm also serving on the Bedford County Visitors Bureau Board. At Omni Bedford Springs, we have over 500 associates that work for us. We also contribute over 50% of the revenue that comes in via the hotel occupancy tax. Ultimately, the 2% occupancy tax that we currently have gives us an advantage over our surrounding areas. It gives us an advantage to bring in individual travelers, and it definitely gives us an advantage whenever we look at larger groups and conventions that hold their functions at Bedford Springs. When you're a meeting planner and you're comparing the total cost of your event compared to Pittsburgh or Philadelphia or Washington, D.C., Bedford becomes a more attractive option. And just as a reminder, with us being the largest contributor to the hotel occupancy tax, the better that we succeed, the more revenue, the better that our entire county is going to succeed. So I want to paint that picture that we are in it for us, but we're also in it for the betterment of our entire county, our fellow hoteliers, the businesses that are here in Bedford County. We want to bring more guests into our county so that they can spend more money in our restaurants, in our retail shops, and truly get to enjoy this beautiful space that we share. We also have associates who work for us who started out as visitors, and now they are residents of our county, paying taxes, owning homes here within our community. So again, that 2% gives us an advantage to be able to bring in more visitors. When the original proposal was presented to me as a board member of the Visitors Bureau, it was told to us that the commissioners wanted this tax increase, and it was up to us as a board to come up with a plan on what we would do with that additional funds. So I was on the committee that helped develop what we would do with that money, but it was presented to me that this was ultimately going to happen. And I do hope that there's consideration, hearing especially from those of us today, that this may not be the right move. However, if the commissioners do decide that you want to increase the tax, I plead to you that the plan that we have in place, that we do stick to that plan. This includes an increase of digital advertising that is so desperately needed. An increase in our social media. For those of you that don't follow the Visitors Bureau, right now, the Visitors Bureau has posted 4 organic posts in the entire year of 2024. That's a free medium that we can use to be able to showcase what we have in Bedford County. Now, there's a lot of resharing that happens if you follow the Visitors Bureau, but the algorithm doesn't like that. For those of us that do social media, they understand that it wants new content, it wants created content by that account, and that's a free medium, right? So we were hearing a lot about how we have limited resources, but that's something that we can do for free right now. So social media, digital advertising, wayfinding. I want to highlight the fact that with wayfinding, it gives us the opportunity to showcase our recreation assets. The wayfinding package that we put together would help us get signage that is consistent for our trailheads. It would also showcase where those trails would be. And what I love is it also would give us connectivity throughout the entire county. So we hear a lot about how we're sometimes can be very Bedford specific, very Bedford centric. This would allow us to incorporate Everett, incorporate Breezewood. So that would obviously benefit our entire county and give us some comprehensive signage around the county. And an upgrade to our website. And I've also heard from different people that marketing is difficult to measure. In today's day and age, it's truly not, right? Social media, website traffic. You can get demographic information just by who's visiting your website. We've heard a lot about the Small Town America billboards that we have. The Visitors Bureau has 18 billboards, 18 billboards. And on those billboards is the same image, the same Small Town America slogan, and the website of visitbedfordcounty.com. What we can measure is how many people visited our website, bedfordsprings.com, how many people visited that website from Visit Bedford County. And in the entire year of 2024, and just to put things in perspective, we get about 100,000 visitors each year to the hotel. We received 12 referral visits from visitbedfordcounty.com. 18 billboards, 12 visits. That's not even one visit per billboard. So it's not an effective way to market. And it's also not the most effective to measure. There are ways we can put measurements in place, and I'm happy to lend support on how we can measure success as a county. So my question and my plea to our commissioners is if you decide to increase this tax, please put some assurances in place that this plan that we've put together can be put forth and that it will be stick to and that we'll have measurements to make sure that there is success in bringing more visitors to Bedford County.
Being on the board, you help with the plan.
I did.
Is it a comprehensive plan?
No, it's not. And there's definitely more detail that we could add. There's absolutely more details that we add. And I would love a chance to go back and revise that. If I can speak candidly, we were told to be very broad with the plan. That was the strategy. So I'd love to be able to go back and add some detail and add some measurements to that plan. That would be ideal. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Carol Finale Brown, the Chancellor's House Bed and Breakfast.
Bread or bed?
Bed. I like bed.
My name is Carol Brown. I am the innkeeper and owner of the Chancellor's House Bed and Breakfast, part of Bedford's tourism schema for plus 25 years. I speak in favor of the tax increase. Unlike larger lodging players in this room, we are a small operator. We are struggling to compete in a pay-to-play digital environment, which sees Google promoting their deep-pocketed advertisers with top positioning over more relevant, smaller business search results. As a small operator, we have limited marketing resources, thus greatly dependent upon efforts of the Bedford County Visitors Bureau to attract tourists to this county and help level that digital playing field. The Visitors Bureau does a fine job with the present meager 2% tax rate. I believe the Visitors Bureau could do vastly more and more effectively with a larger budget. Others here have already spoken about how increasing hotel tax would benefit tourism in Bedford County. Let me elaborate on a few more. As a small operator, our guests venture into the surrounding community rather than remain isolated at a larger hotel or resort with in-house amenities. Thus, we see a multiplier effect when guests stay with us. First, like all lodging operators, we take the revenue we receive and spend it with local workers and vendors, which include B&B staff, people who plaster, paint, plumb, landscape, maintain our equipment, and many others, all resident of Bedford County or at least Pennsylvania. The second and perhaps more abundant multiplier effect is our guests are venturing into the community to spend their dollars with other businesses, including taverns, restaurants, antique shops, clothing stores, museums, outdoor recreation, public events, and others. I estimate that our average guest spends at least an additional 50% of our room charges on purchases with other operators in this community for a multiplier of 1.5. These operators then spend their revenue on vendors and workers, as do we. It's another economic multiplier. When passed through 2 or 3 more iterations, an estimated 3 to 5.5 multiplier effect will kick in. For every dollar spent on a room night at a smaller property like ours. There is a significant opportunity to benefit a much larger community of local service workers, landscaping companies, appliance companies, repair service providers, and others who are not represented in this room today, but which benefit from increased tourism here in Bedford County. I see large benefits to marketing Bedford County more aggressively. I'm excited that Amanda wants to help reconfigure the schematic for that. With the proceeds from this tax, we need the Bedford County Visitors Bureau to promote Bedford as a whole. When it does, we will win. We'll all win. I support increasing the hotel tax and urge the county commissioners to vote yes.
Thank you. How many rooms do you have in your establishment?
As indicated, we are a small operator. We have a 3-bedroom bed and breakfast.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
But a lot of costs.
Oh, yes.
Our next speaker is Drew Condalis, short-term rentals.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Drew Condalis. I've lived in Bedford County since we purchased the 130-year-old River Mountain Farm in Hopewell in 2019. Not only do we operate a farm, but we also have 3 short-term rentals here in the county. In the last 5 years, we've hosted nearly 1,000 guests for more than 800 nights. We also recently purchased a building here in downtown Bedford and plan to open a bookstore later this spring. So tourism is absolutely crucial to my family. But that's only half of my story. I also work full-time as an executive vice president at iHeartRadio. And there I run operations for our government vertical. That means that I work with federal, state, local, and municipal governments on how to spend marketing and communications budgets. I've worked with dozens of DMOs and CVBs in the last 8 years, so I know a lot about this space. I can't understate the massive opportunity we have before us right now. I look at annual budgets for CVBs every day, and the proposed increase could change the course of Bedford County. A budget in the range of $1.7 million per year would put us in elite company. Very few individual counties in the US have budgets over $1 million, and some small to mid-sized cities have smaller budgets than we would with this increase. But almost every CVB with a 7-figure annual budget has one thing in common. They all use digital media, and they all use technology to measure success and to allocate their budgets based on actual outcomes. A recent story on the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau, which represents Center County, shows just that and demonstrates how they are driving growth with digital media and measuring it with precision. So I had my team at iHeartRadio do some research on Bedford County based on cell phone data, visits to local hotels and motels, and dwell times at local stores and points of interest. The results are fascinating to me anyway, and this is data we should be using whether or not you choose to pass this proposed increase. I have some facts for you. So first, we get nearly twice as many visitors from Washington, D.C. than from any other city. Cleveland and New York are number 2 and 3. Ohio contributes the highest number of visitors by far of any state to Bedford County. 77% of people visiting Bedford County from in-state are day trippers, meaning they do not spend the night. 84% of people visiting from out of state don't stay over. And that does not even include the travelers on the turnpike that never exit, that are just passing through. 57% of in-state visitors have income less than $50,000, but 56% of out-of-state visitors have income over $50,000. 1% of in-state visitors have income over $100,000, while 7% of out-of-state visitors have over $100,000 per year. And today, the largest age group among both in-state and out-of-state visitors is adults 65 plus. So much of this data directly supports the findings from the Red House Communications report, which, by the way, Red House is a client of iHeart. We found all of this data and much, much more without any participation from the CVB, the chamber, other civic organizations, or the commission. And that's not meant to be a criticism. The data is available to my team and media organizations like iHeart and is ready to use. We just have to ask for it. While I do think the current tax rate provides a small advantage in attracting people that are price shopping without a specific destination in mind, the proposed increase could indeed be a game changer for us. If you choose to pass this increase, I would ask that you make it temporary and contingent on using data and digital media and technology to measure performance and visitor growth. And personally, while any tax increase would impact our guests, increased tourism from an outcome-based marketing plan would help support my family's businesses and all of the businesses and residents in today. And one last thing, my full team at iHeartRadio is available to help in any way we can. We won't charge any fees or any costs to the CVB. My team has already pre-negotiated free billboards on the turnpike that would cover 100% of the proposed costs for 2026. We've also negotiated free advertising for the CVB on radio stations in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Cleveland, and Washington, D.C. if you decide to pass this increase and invest in new marketing channels. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would we be able to get a copy of your?
I can send you an email, yes, ma'am.
That would be super, thank you.
Okay, that's all the public comments we have for today. And we'd like to thank you all for expressing your comments, and I am sorry for the names that I didn't get correct. But life goes on. Yes, you're more than welcome to stay, but if you would like to leave, that is fine as well. We understand.
We're getting on to the regular business. Thank you. It was very informative. I appreciate everyone who spoke. A lot of good information was shared. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're fine. No, yes, we requested it. But I yes, yes.
Okay, we'll continue on with our regular business meeting. The next thing on the docket will be approval of the minutes for January 14th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Having a first and a second, any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. We'll go on to our expenditures, and I have the top 10 expenditures for the month. UPMC Health Network is $162,492. That's for our county insurance. We have our B comp payment, the first installment of 2025 is $56,508. We have the first allocation for the Bedford Library of $30,000. We have Compros and assessment monitoring for 911 at $19,154. Our CCAP six class county dues for 2025 at $18,288. Compros first quarter for 911 at $13,377. Compros monthly 911 expenditure at $12,465. And the next three are Summit Food Services for the food at the jail. One is $12,213, $12,102, and $11,648.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Having a first and a second, any further conversation? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Under old business, we have nothing. Under county staff updates, awards, and bids, we have nothing, so we'll move on to new business. First, we have a motion to act on the change of assessment notice control report for the month of January 25, based on the recommendation of Joyce Hilligas, Director of Tax Assessment.
So moved.
Second.
Is any further conversation? Nope. Having no further conversation, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. We have a motion to act on the reappointment of Melissa Leidig as a board member of the Bedford County Housing Authority with a term expiration date of January 20th, 2030, based upon the recommendation of Robert F. Harbaugh, Executive Director.
So moved.
Second.
Having a first and second, any further? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. We have a motion to act upon the arrival of the master agreement between Bedford County and the National Printing Company, NPC, for the 2025 election, based upon the recommendation of Bedford County Elections.
So moved.
Second.
Having a first and second, any further conversation? Hearing nothing, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion will carry. Excuse me. I have a motion to act on the approval of a resolution, America 250 PA. Bob Webb has been selected as the Bedford County representative for the advisory committee. This is upon the recommendation of Bedford County Commissioners. Bob's not here today. Bob's probably not here because of Dennis's family situation. He's probably required to work today. Chris, would you read this for us?
Sorry.
Thank you. Good idea.
Resolution 211-2025, the resolution of the County of Bedford, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, supporting the Pennsylvania Commission for the United States Semi-Sesquicentennial, the America 250 PA, whereas the Pennsylvania legislature and the governor created America 250 PA in 2018 to plan, encourage, develop, and coordinate the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the United States and Pennsylvania's integral role in the event and the role of its people on the nation's past, present, and future. And whereas America 250 PA hopes to engage all Pennsylvanians and all 67 counties through their many signatures and officially recognized programs, projects, and events over the next 5 years by inspiring future leaders and celebrating all Pennsylvania's contributions to the nation over the last 250 years. And whereas by adoption of America 250 PA's 4 pillars of EPIC, we hope to educate, preserve, innovate, and celebrate. Now therefore be it resolved that the County of Bedford hereby endorses America 250 PA and their mission to educate, preserve, innovate, and celebrate the history of the heritage of Pennsylvania. And be it further resolved that the County of Bedford officially establishes an America 250 PA Bedford County Commission to be organized and chaired by Bob Webb, the Bedford County representative on the County Advisory Committee, to work with America 250 PA on any and all activities within Bedford County. The participant of the Bedford County Commission will be strictly a voluntary role, and there will be no compensation for participation. And it is further resolved, the copy of this resolution be sent to America 250 PA Commission, adopted this 11th day of February 2025, County of Bedford, Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Having a first and a second,
No, we need to move it.
we need to move.
We need to move it. Yes. I'll move it. Make a
I thought
motion.
we did that. Sorry. Have a motion,
So moved.
second.
Second?
Having a first and second, any further conversation on the subject? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A motion to act on the approval of a lease agreement between Broad Top Township and Bedford County Commissioners effective March 1st, 2025 through February 28th, 2028, based upon the recommendation of Bedford County Commissioners.
So moved.
Second?
This is for the magistrate's office in the plans. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. A motion to act on the approval of the subrecipient receipt and the Center for Community Action for CDBG FFY 2023 OBO Bedford Township Housing Rehab, based upon the recommendation of Jeffrey Fellows, CDBG Administrator for Bedford County Planning.
So moved?
Second.
Having a first and a second. Jeffrey, any further conversation?
No, just the standard agreement we do, subrecipient agreement we do with the Center for Community Action that basically goes over our responsibilities and their responsibilities in overseeing that 2023 fiscal year CDBG housing rehab.
Thank you. I have a first and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a motion to act on the approval of the administrative agreement with the Borough of Bedford, Borough of Everett Area Municipal Authority for CDBG FFY 2023 BEAMA Water Meters Replacement Project. This is also based on the recommendation of Jeffrey Fellows, of CDBG Administrator for Bedford County Planning.
So moved.
Second?
Having a first and second, any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That motion will carry. We have a motion to act on the appointment of Laura Jackson as the alternative member of the Bedford County Planning Commission for the remainder of the term effective February 11th, 2025 through December 31st, 2028 inclusive, based upon the recommendation of Bedford County Planning Commission Board.
So moved?
Second.
Having a first and a second, any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion will carry. We have a motion to act on the approval of the lease agreement between Bedford County of Bedford and Levi A. King Jr., Irma F. King, his wife, and Aaron P. Esch and Rachel L. Esch, his wife, in the amount of $4,000 per year for a term of 15 years for the period beginning January 1st, 2025, ending December 31st, 2039, for the express purpose of constructing telecommunication towers for the connecting the Alleghenies through Core Broadband Infrastructure Project. funded in part by the Appalachian Regional Commission. This is based upon the recommendation of Stephanie Clevenstein, Planning Director.
So moved.
I'll second.
Having a first and a second, any further comments? Stephanie, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, so this is 4,000 just total for the entire site. This was the final lease that we were waiting on so that we can move forward to bid out the project for the broadband towers that we're doing under the ARC funding. So we look forward to finishing up that bid document and getting that out as quickly as possible.
And these towers are in the southeastern part of the county. Probably the most difficult to serve area in the county. So we're excited to get this project going.
Correct, yep.
Having a first and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. We have a motion to act on the approval of the policy and procedure for consultant selection between Pennsylvania Department of Transportation and Bedford County, based upon the recommendation of Stephanie Clevenstein, Director of Planning.
So moved.
Second? I'll do a second. Stephanie, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, so this is just a requirement for the county to go out for a county engineer. We are required to pass this resolution according to PennDOT. And then so we'll move forward with that. We'll submit it to PennDOT saying that you guys did pass the resolution, then open up a solicitation of interest for a county engineer.
Thank you. Having a first and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Motion will carry. Next, we have a motion to act on the approval of the following personnel actions received by the department heads, as listed. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second? Sorry. I
Having
was
a-
reading it.
Having a first and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Any commissioner comments we'd like to say? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, next we'll do our salary board agenda. And we'll call that to order at what?
Did we do the new members?
Yes.
We did, that's what we did. Okay. All right.
Our salary board agenda. Present, we have myself, Commissioner Wink, Commissioner Bachman, and Melissa Cottle. I'll take a motion for approval of minutes for January 14th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Having a first and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. I have nothing under old business. Under new business, I have a motion to act on the approval for wages of the union contracts for the following personnel as listed, based on the recommendations of the department heads for February.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second, having a first and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. We have a motion to set the commission rate for local government tax collectors to be $3.50 per partial, effective January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2029, based upon the recommendation of the county commissioners.
I'll make the motion.
Have a motion, have a second?
I'll second.
Second, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion will carry. I'll take a motion to adjourn. Second,
I'll second.
thank you. All right.